Welcome. It is October 30th. Yes, this is appropriate. Very appropriate. 2015. It is Halloween Eve. Hi. Halloween Eve. And I'm excited to be here. I wish I could tell you I was dressed up, but I'm not. Because you couldn't see me. I thought about coming in dressed up as something. I couldn't decide what it is, so if I dress up for Halloween tomorrow, I will post pictures on all of my social media. You can see me as I am. But I'm dressed normal today. And it's really exciting. I love this time of year. I love it. I love Halloween. It's a fun time. Candy, costumes, kid-like craziness. Love it. And, of course, as always, my fellow Halloween aficionado, Brian.
Good evening.
Good evening. We need some Vincent Price in here. Where's Vincent Price?
I actually have a horror punk band that has licensed me to use their music.
Oh.
And they're called Calabrese.
Okay.
Calabrese, so we'll be hearing some Calabrese as a bumper music. I thought I'd save it for the eve of Halloween.
Yes, I love it. That'd be great.
Pulling it out for the whole other month because we had other weeks.
Yeah, we had other weeks.
I think we had 5 weeks in October this week, right? It feels like 5 weeks. Right?
Yeah, it feels like forever. Well, that's all I know. It just goes on forever this month.
We'll be listening to some Calabrese. I'll give them a shout out right now. CalabreseRock.com is their website. They keep releasing great music. I have 3 tracks that we're going to play, and they're titled appropriately. It's called Every Day's a Funeral, the first one, Death of Me, and Backseat of My Hearse.
I like it.
I think we might even play those instead of commercial breaks because they're about 2 minutes long each.
Oh, okay.
We'll see how we go.
I like that a lot. Yeah, a lot of bands I like too that just don't ever make it. So sad. So, of course, I will give my thanks and gratitude even today. I am thankful. I'm thankful for Halloween, that we all made it to another Halloween, of course. But these are 3 quick little thanks and gratitudes, and they're kind of Halloween themed. Give a shout out to my guys at DeadX Radio, my buddies. We are partnering up for a paranormal series. It's kind of appropriate, right? Yes, it's going to be me and 5 guys from Florida. Yes, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be must-see television. So we're working on that soon, and we're going to be shooting the pilot next month. And so it's a lot of fun. And they're a great bunch of guys. We all share a love of horror and science fiction. They have a weekly radio show out of Tampa, Florida. So you can go to deadxradio.com. You can find them on iTunes. You can find them on the interwebs. They're all over the place. They're my guys, Chance, Jeff, Patrick, Sean, and John. They're great guys. I'm so excited for this new adventure. It's going to be a lot of fun. You know, I'm trying to diversify my empire. That's right, kids. And then, of course, I want to give thanks and gratitude to the holidays. You want to know why? It's so funny. My business increases this time of year. I love it. It's great because I get to also offer services that I normally wouldn't do during the rest of the year. I get to offer this time of year. I assist people in their shopping. I assist setting up. We get to pull down all the different holiday bins and stuff and get it all ready, and I put them out. It's a great time. Everybody seems a little happier. People are a little stressed out too because they're trying to get everything together because usually there's a lot of family parties, and I do some event planning this time of year. So a lot of things I normally don't do, I offer this time of year, and it's a lot of fun. And I used to do it all in the name of organizing. That's what's so beautiful about this. And then number 3, I'm thankful for Halloween. Halloween's fun. It's a childlike holiday. There's no super religious thing attached to it. It's just fun. It's costumes and candy. I mean, come on. What's wrong with that? And I love it.
Fun fact.
Yes, tell me.
Do you know how they used to pronounce Halloween back in the day? A Hallows Eve would be where it derives from.
Oh, right.
It's spelled, when you look at it, it's spelled Samhain.
Oh, I remember Samhain. Okay.
But you pronounce it Shawin.
Shawin, okay.
Yeah, and I love that fact. I love that little tidbit of looking at a word and then not being able to pronounce it correctly.
Well, it's funny. I heard of Samhain because of Danzig, and he used to be in
Samhain.
Yes.
Yeah, but he would get frustrated with that because it's Shawin.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Because it's German, right?
I don't know what. I think it's Latin.
Latin.
Well, Danzig was super into. Well, not like he's dead or whatever.
I know, he's alive, so he's fine. Everybody, he's fine.
He with the Misfits, he recorded a song called Halloween 2, and it was just all in Latin, and it was like, I don't even remember how it goes. I used to know the whole lyrics to it, even though I didn't understand what he was.
It sounds familiar. I think I heard that, but it's because I loved Danzig and Danzig. I loved all of his stuff, but I didn't know about that one song.
I love Hunky Danzig.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Man Crush Monday.
Yeah, because he was hunky. He was. So, yes, so Halloween, be careful. Be careful out there. Be safe on Halloween night. when you go trick or treating with the kidlets. Keep it fun. So just be careful. It'll be okay. So, because this is kind of a Halloween themed episode of the show, we're going to be talking about holidays and Halloween, and we have Julie Ulmer who'll be on shortly, and she loves Halloween also, so there's a love for Halloween happening all up in here. It's going to be great. I actually looked up what top costumes are still out there. There are a few that, of course, are themed to certain movies that pop up every year, but there are certain ones that stand the test of time and seem to be the top costumes. Because it's been, my kids are grown. I've been a long time since I had been in a costume for kid-like costume. But I do have kids in my life, people who go to parties and stuff. And these are some of the ones that I read about that are still popular. Top children's costumes are still like princess, an animal of some sort, Spider-Man, Frozen characters, the movie Frozen, action and superheroes, of course, Batman, big one with kids. And Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Let me get that out 5 times fast. They're in. Witches, of course. Pirates. I know some adults are into piratry. They do pirate stuff all the time. It's kind of a trip to see, like, Ninja Turtles are back. They were the 90s, and they're back. Ninja Turtles. But then you see Batman, and they're all in here. It's like, it's crazy. It's just so interesting to see which ones actually stay on. Now, for adult costumes, the top ones are Witch, Animal, Batman again, Pirates. Now, of course, zombies are big because zombies, especially with Walking Dead, iZombie, all those zombie movies, it is now they're back. Vampires are always a favorite. Doctor, Nurse, of course. And you can get naughty with that one if you want to, too. Action superheroes are big still. Princesses for adults. I was actually surprised by that one. I didn't really realize grown women were still dressing as princesses. And, of course, my favorite, a winch tart vixen. Yeah, I know which women who do those, usually. Lots of fun. But, overall, when I read these, there wasn't much imagination. Now there's folks out there. You go, like, if you're here in LA, in West Hollywood, or in San Francisco, I think in New Orleans, there's places where people do get really creative. They go on, they go in, they go on, they go in. They go all the way up. They work it out. It is a extravaganza event. Some people I know plan for months to get it going. And you're like, oh, that's really crazy. What have I gone as? I've gone as a Spice Girl. You can probably guess which one, the black one. No. I also went as Static Cling. I also went as a disco doctor. I used to be a nurse, so I still had scrubs and stuff. But I was like, I'll be a disco doctor. So I had a big fro, and I wore like a disco ball around my neck, and that was kind of a fun thing to that. I've worn a cape. I've been a pregnant woman. I'm trying to think. As a kid, I think I was a cowboy once. I can't remember what I was as a kid. It's kind of funny. I was a kid a long time ago. But Halloween's just fun. And I always encourage everybody out there to have fun with their costumes. Be really original. I know people dress up as their favorite singers and stuff, but be really original. It's kind of fun. Another thing that we're probably going to talk about in the show when Julie comes on, we always like to talk about storage of different holidays. And what's really interesting is I like different colored bins. There are bins out there. There are orange. There are bins that are red. There are bins that are pink. So what I try to do with my clients, we make this into an organizing thing, is take bins and have them color coordinated with the holiday. Pink for Easter, orange for Halloween, red for Christmas, green for I try to like them color coordinated. So it's really good. I like to do it that way, and so much fun. So good. So yeah. So that's one way to do it. And we'll talk more about that kind of stuff as we go in. So I am going to introduce a guest who's been on before. She's been with us before. She's a friend of the show. And I had to have her back. I had to have her back because it's Halloween Eve. And she enjoys Halloween like the rest of us. And she is the founder of Minding Your Manner, which I just love that title of that company, Julie Ulmer.
Hey, James. How are you doing?
Good. Hi, Julie. How are you?
I'm good. Happy Halloween.
Oh, my God. Welcome back. I'm so excited. I haven't decided what I'm going to be yet.
You better get going.
I got to hurry up. I got some ideas, I guess. And I told people before you came on, I'll post them on all the interwebs when I finally decide who I am.
Sounds good. It's a challenge when it's kind of last minute, you know?
Yes. Now, what are you going to dress up or anything?
Oh, honey, my costume has been picked out months and months ago, and I found a great seamstress on Etsy to sew it for me. So no more spoilers, but
okay.
It's a retro TV show.
Oh.
Character from a retro TV show, and that's as far as I'm going to go with it. You'll
Okay.
have to wait and see the pics online.
See, I know what you look like, so I'm trying to think who's going to be. I'll think about that offline. Who I might. I'm trying to guess who you might be. I'm not here, of course. I don't want to give it away, of course. I'm going to come try to guess it and see if I can come up with it.
I'll give you 3 guesses. How's that? So female.
Yes.
Retro TV show.
Yes.
What's another guess that won't give it away?
Give it away.
Not as spooky as you might automatically guess.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. Got it. Okay. Yes. Because I'm thinking you might go Addams Family or Munsters or something, but you're not going that. You're not going that literal, obviously, like that.
Not this time.
Not this time. No, you bring up something that's very interesting because I have been just introduced maybe about 6 months ago to the world of Etsy.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have relatives who have Etsy stores on there. They're on there and they're doing really well. So for you, how do you recommend Etsy for people? Like, say you found a seamstress, and how did that work for you?
It was the costume that I was looking for, actually. So, I could have. I think bringing it to a local seamstress, it would have been difficult. They would have had to find the pattern or whatnot. So a Google search is what led me to the costume. And this was a person who, I took all my measurements, and she actually emailed me back at one point and said, one of those kind of sounds off. You're either super, super tall or maybe take that measurement again. And I did. And this costume fits like a glove.
Oh my
It really
God.
fits perfectly.
Wow.
And she sells it as that particular character.
Okay.
And it was funny because she actually said, because I'm a strong girl.
That's
and,
right.
I'm not petite. She
Yes.
said, don't worry about it because I make this costume for a lot of men.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Interesting. Men.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
and I'll throw the word drag in there.
Yes.
That's it.
I had a feeling that's where we were going. So yes. Okay. So she knows stronger measurements. We'll say that.
Yeah.
She does do that.
So it was a really great experience. Very sweet. Sent me swatches with colors in the
Wow.
costume so I could go and find, matching accessories. And really nice. So I already gave her a shout out on Etsy, and that was I think that's my first experience. And so far it's gone really well.
Wow. That's really great. I mean, Etsy has been I know I have friends who have stores on there, and they sell some great stuff and services. My niece is on there for her graphic design, and she's so good. And it's a great new place that, like I said, I'm just learning about. I know it's been around for a little bit, but I'm really learning about it. So it's funny you mentioned that.
And I saw that Amazon is actually going to be launching a handmade
Yeah, I heard that too.
version of Amazon.
How do you feel about that?
That'll be interesting as well. You know what? It's really keeping it local. It's keeping it in the United States. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yes.
And celebrating artisans and giving artisans an outlet other than, just a local flea market or, what have you. People can ship and send stuff all over the country. It's amazing, this technology, this day we live in.
It's funny you say, because I believe in trying to support local talent. I'm in the TV and radio industry, and also I go to farmers markets on Sundays and try to support my local honey or my local peaches. I think it's so important that we kind of go back to our old ways of supporting the village, so to speak.
Absolutely.
And America's our big village. It's a big village. I mean, just kind of supporting us and keeping it within here.
And stop buying crap from China.
I know.
No offense, China.
Yeah, no offense, of course. No offense, of course. But I agree with you on that one, too.
But, let's stick with things that are handmade or things that are made from actual wood, that sort of thing. I think we get caught up in I can spend this amount of money very quickly because I can go to this box store and get this item very quickly, and it's not that expensive. But I would, some things, it's like, well, maybe you should find a cabinet maker.
Right.
I know it's going to be more expensive,
Right.
but in the long run, let's take an entertainment center. There's a church, local church, that always has this great big huge auction and tag sale in the fall. And I was looking at what they were accepting for donations for a client, and they said, no entertainment centers, thank you, none.
Wow.
Because they're, they fall apart within, 4 or 5 years?
Exactly, if that long, right.
You can't get rid of them nowadays, interestingly enough. But if someone had made like a beautiful armoire or a beautiful cabinet that was made from real wood, you'd have that forever.
Well, exactly, I totally agree. And it's also personal. It's very personal. It's like it was made for you. Mm-hmm. That's what makes it kind of like, it's almost a one of a kind. Even though it may look like some of the others they make for other people, but it's like, they made it for me.
Absolutely.
I feel personalizing it it's a really great thing. So I love that. Mm-hmm. Okay, Miss Julie, stay on the line. We're going to talk some more Halloween, some organization, some holiday. We're going to talk about it, everybody.
Great.
So everybody, this is Super Organized Universe Radio. I am James Lott Jr., and I'm with Julie Ulmer, and we'll be right back.
I just wanted to say one more time, CalabreseRock.com.
That's right.
That's who it was. I saw James rocking out.
This song is good. I like it. We are back. Super Organizer Universe Radio. I am James Lott Jr., the Super Organizer. Yes, the Super Organizer. Not a Super Organizer, but the Super Organizer. And I'm with Julie Ulmer.
Julie, I love you so much right now.
It's hilarious.
She has her own sound effects.
She has her own. It's Julie, you have your own sound effect now.
Oh, there we go. There's a drop for you.
There's a drop for exactly. No, it's just for you. So one of the things that I talked about before you came on was about that this time of year. I was talking about storage of the holiday items, and several of my clients. What we do is nowadays you can actually find different color bins during those holiday times. So I might have friends who do pink for Easter and orange for Halloween and red for Christmas and stuff. I want to talk about that a little because you like the holidays and Halloween. Any tips and things we can talk about?
Oh, sure, definitely.
Yeah.
There's always sort of a throw up in the air as to using a clear plastic storage bin tote versus some of the colored ones. I like the colored idea because obviously then you can tell Christmas from Halloween.
Yes.
But sometimes I like the clear ones
Okay.
just because labeling sticks to it better and it's clear.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So one of the things is I do use storage bins because I don't want to say so much Halloween decorations, but I have a pretty good amount that I can't keep all of it into the house, and I do store some in a storage shed. One of the things I wanted to mention was for people to understand the electronic stuff that they have. For instance, I've got a few jack-o'-lanterns that are electric that light up with a little bulb inside or whatnot. It's really important to take the batteries out of those dancing snowmen, anything that you're plugging, or excuse me, here I am talking about plugging in. I mean the battery-operated ones that light up or that dance like a snowman, or, you've walked by him by the store and it says, try me, and you have to supply the batteries. But it's really important to take the batteries out of those because oftentimes they just corrode, especially if they're in like a hot attic.
That's true.
Or if they're, exposed to a lot of humidity, and then you ruin the piece altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things I think is important when we're dealing with our holiday stuff. Another thing with storing, I'm launching right into another tip.
Do it.
I've had Indian corn is something that people are like, well, I would like to see this last another year. It's so beautiful. There's a couple of things when we're storing things that are really potentially food for pests.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
With the Indian corn, that's an invitation to, little furry critters. But another trend that we've seen a lot is, let's say for Halloween, using a hurricane votive, the large glass, candle holder, and you put a pillar candle in the middle, and then you fill in the whole outside with candy corn.
Yeah.
Don't try and save the candy corn for next year.
Really? No,
I don't think so. Have you ever unpacked Christmas from the previous year and you packed away the candy canes, the peppermint candy canes?
Yes.
And they have gotten all soft and pink and sticky, and they're oozing outside of their package. So I think that it's wise. I mean, these are all inexpensive items. The candy corn, the Indian corn, candy canes. I think that you're setting yourself up for too much of a possibility of having ants or other critters. So just toss them at the end of the season and move on from there.
You brought up a really good point that I want to kind of talk about just a little bit. It's just that it's funny with the battery-operated stuff, we forget. It's like, it'd be like, angels or lights or things that all have the batteries inside in like a little packet. That is funny. You really need to store them in a way so they don't corrode and explode on you and just become useless.
My cute little drop at the beginning there. It's a little push-button doorbell. I left the batteries in it, and then as I was preparing for today's show, I was like, you know what? I love that little doorbell so much. I bet you I could find another one. But, that's what we don't want to do. We don't want to keep rebuying plastic things and dancing reindeer and whatnot. So if we take better care of it in the first place, you don't have to rebuy it.
So if you're storing it in the garage, maybe not an attic, but a garage, or shed, do you suggest having stuff on the bottom, like in the back in a cool, dry area, or what are those?
I would stick with cool and dry, but I think it's more important to keep pests off of it. So I use clear trash bags for covering up like reeds.
Oh, okay.
I only use clear, and I only use clear when I'm organizing with a client. The only thing trash that is garbage goes into a black contractor bag.
I use those. Yes.
I only use the 3 milliliter thick because oftentimes you get something pokey in there, and you're just wasting your time. But when I work with clients and we're donating, let's say, clothing or bed linens or towels, excess towels to a local humane society, I only use clear plastic bags because it just takes all the guesswork out of okay, which bag's garbage, instead of donating your garbage by accident and keeping the excess towels, you can always see with the clear bags. So that is something that I always have on hand. So I only have a couple of small wreaths, just one for Christmas. I do have one for Halloween that someone gave to me. It's a little kitschy, but it's very sweet. But I use the clear garbage bags to cover those up and to protect them from spiders, spider nets.
Yeah, that's true.
Those little white sacks that are, spidery and kind of gooey. And I think, cool and dry is okay. I'm going to go back to the please don't store stuff where it shouldn't be stored bit that I talked about with you recently, which was don't put things places that are prone to mold, to mildew,
that's true.
to, rodents, to bird poop. I mean, I've been working in a barn with a client recently, and
Really?
and we are going through so many boxes of books, but there were leaks in the roof. And the books have gotten, a lot of boxes have collapsed, and the books are mildewy. We can't donate them.
No.
And it's a shame because they're beautiful, but when my client is feeling so terrible about, I really want to donate these books, I ask her, is that a donation? Is that a gift, or is it a curse?
Yeah.
So that's something that kind of helped because we want to, you can't put things in a barn. I'm sorry. The bat guano, it's very bad for your respiratory.
Yeah, it is, right.
Yep, not good stuff. So thinking ahead about when you're in the store and you're tempted to buy like a new version of Halloween trees, which kind of look like the Christmas trees.
Yeah, I saw some of those recently. I'm like, it was kind of weird, but okay, sure.
It is kind of weird.
Yeah.
They're black, but really, do you have enough room to store that when you're in the store and you're thinking about it? Do you have enough room to store a whole collection of fake gravestones that, like me, you just happen to put up your own little graveyard every year?
Right, yes, right.
But stop and think about what's coming into the house, what's going to need to go out of the house. Because the thing about Halloween is, you and I both know, Christmas is the number one holiday that Americans spend the mother load on.
Yes, they do.
But Halloween is fast right behind it.
Yeah.
It's the second one.
It's growing, too, isn't it? I was in Michael's the other day. I mean, really, the Halloween section and selection of what you can buy has grown over the years. It's amazing. I'm like,
it is.
It's amazing. I mean, I saw a Halloween train set.
Oh, cool.
Like at Christmas. You have one for Christmas? It was a Halloween train set. I'm like,
that's nifty.
It was really cute, but it was expensive, but it was really cute. I was like, oh, okay. So you can actually, like you said, you can literally decorate your Halloween like you do Christmas almost.
Absolutely. And you've seen like the little Christmas village, pieces where people get a house for every year. They have those for Halloween too.
Yes.
But
my daughter's into Nightmare Before Christmas. So she has all the little figurines and the ties. I mean, everything. So that's always a fan favorite at her house.
Oh, absolutely. And you're gonna be hard pressed to find me criticizing that kind of thing because it's that back to the old don't yuck somebody else's yum.
Yum. I love that. I do. I love that.
If that's her yum, then she should have at it. But, you know how easy it is at Christmas time, though, with the figures. The other Halloween thing that I've stayed away from, it looks attractive, but like in some of the Spirit of Halloween stores or other Halloween-themed stores are these sort of the animatronic, like the zombie that pops out of the coffin or the what have you. I just wonder, how good is the technology in that? How well is it made? Is it going to last year after year after year?
Yeah.
Or how quickly is it going to kind of go by the wayside of the talking teddy bear that, after 2 years, even though it's got great batteries, it starts talking melted. You know what I mean? I wonder, is the zombie really going to pop out of that as well as it is in the store 5 years later?
I relate to myself. Am I going to be the same as I was 5 years later? I mean, that's same thing.
Well, that's true too. You really going to carry that that zombie around.
Yes.
So, you know what? I was really inspired by talking with you and understanding that Halloween was coming up. Believe it or not, I have never organized my Halloween stuff.
What?
I can't believe it.
Oh my God, that's so weird. Okay.
I've never done it. I've just, for whatever reason, certain things, there are certain things that are outside decorations that stay in the shed, but there's my indoor stuff too. So I brought everything out the other day.
Oh my God.
And I organized it.
Oh my God. See, folks, see, viewers, I even help other organizers.
Absolutely.
We learn from each other. That's so interesting. So you pulled everything out. Did you have a lot of stuff?
I did, but it was how I broke it down for my, for the potential use in the future.
Let's talk about that. How did you break it down? How did you break it down?
Well, like with like, we know we're going there.
Yes.
I did decorations separate from costumes.
Okay.
Because that was something I was finding all sorts of parts mixed in with whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
So the decorations like spiders, bats, webbing, silk flowers, glitter cutouts.
Oh, yeah.
I set those aside from, I also have a whole selection of cards, stickers, stamps,
yeah.
tattoos, treat bags, stencils, carving tools, pumpkin lights, and I've got a few strands of these really cute portable little battery-operated lights. That's like a skull necklace. It lights up at night, or when it's purple and orange. And I wear those when I go on like haunted hay rides and stuff. The actors really like it. They're like, "Ooh, nice necklace." So then I broke out the costumes, and I did them just like I would if I were in a costume store.
Got it.
So we talked about using that department store mentality, meaning when you go into a costume store, do you anticipate beards and wigs are going to be kind of similar and kind of next to each other? Of course you do.
Yeah,
right?
of course. Well, yeah, of course you do. Yeah.
If you're looking for body parts, do you think thumbs are going to be on the opposite side of the store from the rat-chewed arm?
Right. Yeah, right. It's time to chuckle,
you?
but yes, that's true.
So
They should be together.
with like.
Right.
So I broke down the costumes into one box. I have beards and wigs, nose and teeth, eye masks.
Oh yeah, eye mask.
Jewelry,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
cheesecloth.
Oh yeah.
Gauze, and of course you got to have a pair of Harry Potter glasses.
Of course. Hey, why
Of
not?
course.
Yes, of course.
The other box I did with capes, masks, gloves, scarves, and then I also had body parts, hats, knives, axes, and a trident.
Yeah, I love a good trident. Why not? There you go. That's so funny. Wow.
And it was so interesting because I just kept thinking, where would I go for these parts in a costume store? They would probably be, sort of together, knives and axes.
Yeah.
Of course they would.
Right.
The trident's kind of the oddball out.
But it kind of represents still, I mean...
It's the devil's trident, too,
Okay.
not the one that Neptune would
I'll say
have.
not Neptune. I had a feeling it wasn't Neptune's. I had a feeling.
Yeah, me too.
You don't have a sickle? I'm surprised you don't have a sickle.
I don't.
I'm shocked.
I know, but that's okay because when we think about some of the things for our costumes, do we actually have to run out and buy something like that? Or is it possible we could borrow it?
There you go. Good girl. That's right. I like that. That. I do.
Borrowing something, which is, I've kept these over the years for multiple costumes of my own and my daughter's and whatnot, but borrowing something like the sickle or a scythe or a trident or an axe is just as good as, purchasing that stuff from China or making it. That's where we're missing out.
Yeah, that is true.
When you and I were kids, it was kind of maybe the day before the day of Halloween, we'd come running home, and all of a sudden we had to go through the big box of old clothes in the attic.
Yes, that's true, yes.
scrounge around some cardboard,
Yep.
try to piece together,
Yes.
using our
That's true.
repurposing kind
yes.
of thing. That's one of the things that's kind of sad about Halloween nowadays. It's like kids can just pick up a catalog and pick out a costume.
I know. No imagination, no work, nothing. Just there you go.
Yeah.
And even the costumes aren't even as good anymore either. It's kind of like, here's a plastic mask and a black. I'm like, really? I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Not fun.
I like the interesting stuff, and I like piecing it all together.
Yeah, I always feel like, kids, we need to preserve their imaginations as long as we can.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just one time of the year you can do that. Because you say you can be whatever it is you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can help them achieve it in ways that are interactive. You really,
absolutely.
you really do that.
And that's one of the things I love the most about Halloween is what we had to do when we were kids to pull together a costume, how we had to piece everything together.
Mm-hmm.
James, I got another awesome tip for you and your listeners.
Please.
And me. This is something I have realized. I've done this every year now, and it works out really well. I have a bay window in my kitchen, and that's where I really like to hang purple and orange lights.
Oh, I love it.
And then I have a plug-in jack-o'-lantern that runs through most of October, and then the other real jack-o'-lanterns are outside. And since I put it in that same window every year, what I figured out was I have cup hooks, the kind that you just use underneath a cupboard to hang a coffee mug.
Yeah.
I use a cup hook on either side and in the middle of this large bay window. And what I did was I took a clothespin and I pinched together the area on the left side, and I used a little bit of painter's tape, and I labeled it left side. Then I did it in the center and labeled it center.
Okay.
And I did it on the right side and labeled it right. So that every year I can just pull up the banded string of lights together.
I love it.
And hang them from the cup hooks. They're the appropriate length. I've already had it measured out so that, it's not lopsided.
Yeah.
And the plug-in part is down by the outlet where you're actually going to plug it in instead of doing the whole thing and then realizing you can't reach the darn outlet.
Yes.
And that has worked out really well. I like that.
I'm going to say to my viewers, like I say all the time, being organized does work. It really does. Like what you just said was a great example of forethought in being organized and saying, I'm going to do it this way and this way. So because I do this every year. You thought ahead.
Every year.
You thought about the bigger picture. It's like when you do that, your life is easier every year. Just that one little thing saves you, 30 seconds to maybe 2 minutes trying to figure out what's the left side, what's the right. You're like just doing it every year.
I think it's also the aggravation. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I get so excited that I just want to put it up and, and enjoy it and sit back and enjoy those spooky colored lights coming from that window. That's neat. But imagine Clark Griswold trying to recreate his fantasy of lights, his whole festival of lights that he has on his house every year. If he had to restring it from scratch every year, that'd be a big drag. So I like that. And the painter's tape, you and I haven't talked about that yet. It's my favorite.
So it is. Okay.
Oh my gosh,
Tell
I
me
don't
about
carry
that.
a label maker.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, how funny. Oh, how funny.
Haven't for years. I love painter's tape. My clients love painter's tape. And I rarely use the dark blue that you typically see. Nowadays they have yellow and green and pink, and the color really pops. And you can see so much better on the side of a clear storage bin, 15 feet away. You can see exactly what it says. It doesn't leave a residue. I use painter's tape all the time, and it's just my favorite.
I just wrote that down as a note because now as I'm thinking about it, you're right because it's easy to take on, take off. I'm learning stuff too because that's easy on, off. Yeah, I'm seriously taking notes right now.
Right.
Painter's tape. That's actually really interesting because
I love it. It pops. You can see, when I was in pastry, when I was in the culinary business, is the first time I saw it. Back then, they only had the blue.
Right.
But my pastry chef used it to label everything that went into a freezer, everything that went into, a region or whatnot. And I guess I was naive at the time. I said, why blue? And she said, because it pops. And she's right. If you just take plain old masking tape and you just write on it with a ballpoint pen, you can't see anything.
No, you can't. Not at all.
No.
No.
But I even get 1.5 or 2 inch wide painter's tape, which from a distance away we can see what it is that we're working on. I don't really even use a label maker at all. I love the painter's tape, and then I use Post-its for banker boxes that I don't want to mark up with painter's paper that might not come off cleanly. We got to go back to the real jack-o'-lantern versus the electric jack-o'-lantern.
Ooh, I love it. Okay, yes.
Here's the tip. Here's the deal, and I think this is going to work out more so for you and your listeners on the West Coast than me, because usually things cool off this time of year, and it's not such a big deal. But we want to eke the most amount of life out of our jack-o'-lanterns as possible, right?
Yes.
So there's the best way to do it is, and most of us, it used to be when I was a kid, you carved it the day of.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, same here.
Nowadays we're doing a little bit in advance, which is nice.
Yes.
The trick is to scoop out all of the guts as cleanly as you can.
Okay.
You're going to carve your design out.
Okay.
When you're done with carving, you can kind of blot dry the inside with a paper towel.
Yeah.
And then you can use like a Pyrex measuring cup for liquids, and pour, a little bit, 1/4 cup, maybe a little bit more of straight bleach.
Okay.
And use a paintbrush, and you're going to paint everything that has been cut and that's wet and that is raw of the pumpkin. Instead of spritzing it with a spritzer bottle, because that kind of creates fumes.
Yes.
The painting it on is you're just getting the bleach to kill off any bacteria that might be living.
Got it.
Dry it off, or allow it to dry, better yet. And then you can take regular old petroleum jelly, and you're going to smear a thin layer of petroleum jelly all over the areas that have been cut, and that includes the inside.
Okay.
And that's going to help keep that pumpkin from melting down, as they say. Now, the other thing is, if you keep your jack-o'-lanterns out of direct sunlight, because I know you guys are warmer than we are here.
Yes, always.
Always. And the more ventilation, the better. So let's say you've got a regular old jack-o'-lantern, 2 eyes, nose, mouth. If you put some ventilation holes in the back side of the jack-o'-lantern, and actually I stopped with doing the top, taking off the top.
Okay.
I put like a baseball-sized hole in the backside, and that's where I slip the candle in.
Oh, okay.
And that actually is better because it creates more ventilation, because when you put the candle in a regular jack-o'-lantern and just put the top on, there isn't that much air going on, so you're creating a lot of heat. So you're basically baking the pumpkin from the inside out.
Oh, okay, got it. Makes sense.
And that's where it starts to get that wrinkly face.
Yeah, like sucking in. Yeah, sucking in. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And that's another tip that I found out in past years, when it's real hot temperature, is that if you soak it in water, it kind of helps rehydrate it. And of course, again, this is for jack-o'-lanterns that are sitting out in like 75, 80-degree weather all the time.
This is LA.
It actually soaks up the water, and it prevents it from that whole dehydrating thing.
See, I'm out there. We give you all kinds of tips. But here's the thing that I want to ask you, because I haven't gone through it yet. Because so far I've just done the organizing part of my client stuff. We haven't gone through the editing. I'll call it editing. Your stuff. What are some things you do to help people? Because I'm sure, because it's holiday time, it's way different than just regular people's stuff. How do you go through that a little bit? I mean, can you talk about that a little bit? How you get them to edit their Halloween boxes and bins, or we'll stick with Halloween. Just say, just kind of.
Right.
How do you do that?
Well, it's the same thing as what I should follow myself. The old idea of, when I bring out boxes of the decorations, or I bring out boxes, it's really saying, let's see, did I use this to decorate with last year? No. Why not? Remember that Halloween wreath that I spoke of before that somebody had given me, but it was a little bit kitschy?
Yeah.
I haven't hung it up for display in probably well over 5 years.
Wow.
And right now, it's actually sitting in the bin out in the shed. And now that I'm thinking about it, why am I keeping that if I don't hang it up?
Right.
If I don't use it, I don't need it, I don't want it, and I don't seem to love it. I guess I'm just keeping it because somebody gave it to me, which was very thoughtful.
Right.
But, so that's one of the things to think about. Now, let's say there were some other circumstances that, kept me from hanging up my favorite wreath.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Let's say, it was you had a bad year, you were ill that time of year, you just didn't have the spirit and energy to put up all your decorations. But
right.
Now times are better and things have turned around.
Right.
Okay, then that's, take that with a little grain of salt and say, yeah, last year was kind of bad. That's why I didn't put it up, but I do still like this wreath. And I am going to put it up this year. I'm asking myself about that wreath, and I'm saying to myself, it's really probably been more than 5 years.
Yeah.
So I love the quartet of, do you use it, need it, want it, or love it? Because that kind of covers a lot of bases.
Say that one more time, please. That's a good one.
Sure. When we're editing, when we're looking at things that, however they've come into our life, they are in our life, I can take an individual piece or a book or what have you and look at it and say, do I use this? Do I need it? Do I want it? Or do I love it? And I know that the one thing that kind of falls out of line in there are the things that people hang on to because they might need it.
That's exactly, you just right there. Mm-hmm.
I don't need it right now, but I might need it. Okay? All right. So then I have a solution for that. The things that you might need, I like to put them on what I call probation.
Okay.
And I think, I don't know, I'm sure there was a professional organizer before our time that came up with this idea. It could have been Peter Walsh. It could have been someone else.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not an original idea, but the idea of probation is to put it in a box.
Okay.
Put a Post-it on the box,
Okay.
With a date.
Yes.
Go back and revisit that box 3 months, 4 months down the line.
I actually do that with my clients. I don't have 3-4 months, but we do get a bin and say, or a bag and say, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you're thinking about it, or I see that's really stressing them out to make the decision today. And I don't want to stress my clients out, obviously. I don't want to stress them out. So, and it's their stuff. So, I mean, they can do whatever they want. So I'm like, I do that. I say, okay, we'll get back to you. I'll check with you in like a couple of weeks, and we'll talk about it again. So I like that idea of that, of just saying, put a date on it. Say, okay.
Yep.
And
give yourself a deadline, too. It might be that you check in with it twice over a period of a few months or something.
Yes.
But giving yourself a deadline of, if I don't use this in however much time, weeks or however many months, then really, I think that I can let it go. And sometimes people turn that box from a probation box straight into a donation box.
That's true. That's true.
Pick up the box, put the top on the box, and off it goes.
Right.
See you later.
And we'll stop right there. We'll be back for our last quick segment. Julie Ulmer, stay on the line. We'll be back with Super Organized Universe Radio.
fun we had when you poisoned me.
Something you ain't stoked to see.
Yes, arsenic on the rock.
We are back. Super Organized Universe Radio. I love that song. I love it. It is Hallows Eve, and I'm talking to Julie Ulmer, who's giving me just all kinds of great stuff, which I knew you would. I knew you would. I'm not surprised.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Not surprised.
But, it's trial and error, right?
Yes,
Some of it's
it
common
is.
sense.
I talked about on another episode of my show earlier this month about honesty, and I told people one of the things I feel like before you can do anything in life, including organization, is just be honest with yourself first, which is always the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you think, well, being honest with yourself, you don't have to tell anybody anything. It's just talking to yourself. It's still really hard. Mm-hmm. And some of the things you're talking about just today about Halloween and organization of it and storing of it, it's like you really do have to start from center and go, okay, what do I need? What do I, like, well, you said, what do I use? What do I need? What do I want? What do I love? And organize it that way. And what kind of space do you have? I mean, it's a lot to think about because these holidays come once a year and that's it. Halloween just comes once a year. But you can accumulate a lot of stuff for Halloween, which you've talked about. So now I'm just going to ask you because it's actually is a quick segment because we're almost over already. I'm about to have you back on again.
You're funny.
Again and again and again. It's like this is crazy talk. It's crazy talk.
Tapped.
Oh my goodness.
I got nothing. I've got nothing else.
No, you got more. You got more. I know you do, girl. You got more. It's crazy. But I just want to talk about, so for you, because we've been kind of relating it to you organizing your Halloween stuff for the first time, how you organized it. So how are you storing? Are you storing yours the way, the techniques you were telling us about, you're storing yours the same way?
Yeah, I think so. I think that the outdoor stuff can live in bins out in the shed.
Okay.
I try to keep it nice, but, heaven forbid if a mouse or something got into something and ruined it, that's life. I'm not storing my precious things out there. And now that my daughter's off to college, I have the boxes now. Now they're nicely labeled with a big Post-it with lines on the Post-it with pretty much everything that's in them facing outward so that I can see them. And they're in what was her bedroom closet. And I will probably have a chance to edit some more after the holiday when I go to put back decorations.
Yeah.
That's a good time, I think, and I've done that with Christmas, too. Having don't tell my brother this, but he gave me a doll, a St. Nicholas doll one year, and I used it for a few years, but eventually it just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
So I ended up donating it.
Okay.
But I donated it after the Christmas holidays when I said to myself, why didn't you put this St. Nick doll out?
Right.
And the answer was, I don't love it.
There you go.
My brother gave it to me. It was really super sweet.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, if I asked my brother today, do you remember that St. Nicholas doll that you gave me for Christmas years ago? I bet you he would look at me like I had three heads.
But yes, that's a good point, though. That's a really good point. It's like things you've had for a while. Sometimes people give you gifts, and they don't really. They give a lot of gifts out, so they're like, "Here you go." They're not attached to it anymore. You put all this pressure, like, "Oh my God, if I do this, they'll hate me." Or chances are they won't.
They don't even remember. He's not even going to remember that doll.
Right. That's a good point, though, because I'm not saying we're bringing up stuff that people will put up as obstacles to edit their stuff, and that's a good point. Remember, folks. They don't even know. It's going to be okay. Life's going to go on. Especially if you tell me, and if they do ask, and you say you donate it or let someone borrow it or whatever, that's still good. It's like it's still being used.
It was yours. They gave it to you.
Exactly. To do with what you will, and that should be okay. But still, I'm like you. I'm all about repurposing, sending off. Now, I know one of the easier things is when you have kids and they outgrow the costumes, you can give those away, obviously. And so, what kind of averages do you see in terms of even with your own life, especially with Halloween stuff? Does stuff really last? If you do store it well, you can see it lasting for years, or do you think there's like a shelf life for a lot of stuff? Or
I think there's two ways to look at it, which
Okay.
is there a possibility that I could utilize this again for costumes in the future? Okay, the beard, yup.
Yes.
The wigs, yes.
Yes.
The eye masks, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be honest here. We're talking honesty.
Yes.
For about 5 years in a row when my daughter was a teenager, she was a zombie something every year. And that was before The Walking Dead.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was before zombies were hot.
Yeah.
And every year she was, one year she was a zombie prom queen.
Oh, funny.
And one year she was, it was so easy to take some of my old clothing from the culinary field. She was a zombie chef.
Ah, okay.
It was great because we embossed her little coat with, her name was Chef No More.
I like that.
And we hot glued moss and hot glued spiders and bugs and crawly stuff coming out of the pockets and everything, and it was really awesome. But as I was going through these boxes the other day, I have not let go of the Chef No More pants, and I have not let go of the zombie prom queen dress. There's no way, it's never going to fit me.
Right.
I don't envision having a young girl around in the future.
Right.
But
It's sentimental, I guess.
it's a little bit sentimental. And, now that I've talked about it, maybe after Halloween, maybe I'll take a look as I put things back in and say to myself, listen, this zombie prom queen dress, it's not like I could really donate it. We ripped up an old dress that we got from a thrift store anyhow for it. Maybe it's time to let it go. Whereas I'd found the perfect prairie woman dress for the year that I was Lizzie Borden.
Okay. Okay.
And it was awesome, and it
sure.
looked great and fit great, and it was inexpensive, and it was my size. It was really a great find.
Yeah.
I totally kept it, and I repurposed it again a few years later as a member of the Donner Party.
Oh, there you go. I love it. Okay. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And now, am I going to get a third costume out of that dress?
Maybe.
You never know.
Right.
But because it was inexpensive, because it fits so well, because it really, really was just it's a great base costume for something.
Yeah.
I'm going to hang on to it for a little bit longer.
I understand that. I get that.
So.
I get that.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going to end because time is up, and I just can't believe it. Why so fast? Why so fast? So, Julie, where can the fine folks of my viewers can find you?
Well, I work. My business name is Minding Your Manor, MANOR, as you pointed out in the beginning, and my website is www.mindingyourmanor.com, and they can connect with me via social media through there. I'm on Twitter as Minding Your Manor. I'm on Facebook as Minding Your Manor.
Yes, you are.
And folks can connect with me because we can have, I like having social media party time with people and trading tips and tricks because our clients sometimes teach us some of the, some of the important things too.
Completely agree, and also other organizers. You just today, I took down notes like I was in class. I took down several notes of yours that I'm going to use in my own practice.
Well, that's great. Congratulations. I hope I can keep coming up with these nifty ways of looking at things, and then that's why I like also watching what other organizers are doing or how they're presenting situations with their clients or scenarios, because we get great information from them. Things that didn't exist. Evernote didn't exist 15 years ago,
I know.
or some of the new technologies. So
yes. Well, have a good Halloween. And I will talk to you offline, of course. We'll talk soon, of course.
Happy Halloween.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So, everyone, that was a great Halloween episode. I just want to continue talking. I'll probably have her back for like Christmas or Thanksgiving. We'll have her for all the holidays. How's that? This is Super Organizing Universe Radio. I am James Lott Jr. Be careful out there this weekend. Have a great time, and I will talk to you guys in November.